Yes, people, it's the big one! Chelsea are going up to the theatre of fever dreams. That's right, Old Trafford, Manchester United, who are hashtag in a bad moment, as the managers of football often say. Chelsea are coming off a win against Brighton, only 3-2 mind. Of course, they played midweek as well, and they've got a bunch of injuries, but we were against it. Conor Gallagher got sent off. You know the drill. We're going up to Old Trafford. I think slight favourites from the bookmakers, but we have a whole host of injuries. And no, let's get it out early. Christopher Nkunku will not be available for this game. God, he said he'll be available for the Man City game once upon a time. But no, he's presumably not passing fitness tests, and he is not available for this game. Neither is Romeo Lavia. Of course, neither is Carney Chukwuemeka, Chilwell, the people that we knew that were already doing their sort of rehabilitation. Leslie Ugachukwu, not available in midfield. And with Gallagher's suspension, that leaves us very, very short. And we'll talk about how we can navigate that. I built a lineup, and it's going to be fun. So strap yourselves in. Thank you for joining me. Do consider supporting the content by simply liking and subscribing. And as always, I encourage you to comment as we go. Comment as we go. All right, mate. United. They are all over the gaff at the moment. There's some people even talking about Ten Hag on the ropes, maybe. Of course, it is a mess, bro. There's leaks in the dressing room, but, today there was some news that's come out that they're trying to sue newspapers that are, maybe not sue them, but they're like banning them from Carrington or United, wherever they do the press conferences, because they feel like fake news is getting out there. Either way, it is a messy scenario. Of course, they blag their way through games. They somehow survive incredibly turbulent moments. And then they score a blaggy goal. I heard CFC Central on London is Blue podcast talk about they've conceded 7 less goals than they should have done in terms of the expected goals against. They're just sort of riding their luck loads in most departments, and despite that, they're still being recognised as not good and getting kicked out of, or probably kicked out of Europe. And yeah, Ten Hag, what is he doing? He's playing this teenager in midfield as their sort of saviour. He bombed out Harry Maguire and Scott McTominay in the summer, wanting to sell them both, stripping Maguire of the captaincy. Now, Maguire is his best defender. Triple Champions League winner Rafa Varane just isn't fancied at all, is sitting on the bench, who, by the way, is on extraordinary wages. And Harry Maguire, who was bombed out by this guy, is back in. And the other guy he tried to flog in the summer, McTominay, is their top scorer in the Premier League. So his authority is all over the gaff. But wait, there's more. Of course, he's bombed out Jadon Sancho, and there's some suggestions that could have been partially because he wanted to get his boy, Anthony, in to play on the right wing, who, by the way, has been nothing short of horse poop. He's been terrible. He's so one-footed. He only wants to do one thing, which is cut inside and shoot. He's like Iron Robin from Wish. He's a B-Tech Iron Robin, if that. That kind of feels like, even being a B-Tech Iron Robin feels like it's better than he is. Like, he might come good, but Breda cost 100 million euros up to, which is like 90 million quid or something. I don't know. An insane amount of money. And you've got someone in Jadon Sancho who's... his productivity levels, maybe not in the Premier, but in the Bundesliga, is elite. We're going to talk about Chelsea in just a moment, don't worry. Whereas, I've said this before, Anthony for Ajax, his numbers weren't good. He was getting outperformed by, in terms of, retrospectively, Mason Mount did better from midfield as a teenager, playing for Vitesse, and he was playing for prime Ajax, older, as a forward. His numbers weren't there. I don't know why... Ten Hag, he's just a Man United. Oh, you've got endless money. I know this guy's name. We'll have to skip introductions. Yeah, it's worth 100 million. Get him in. You already had. Granted, he didn't sign Jadon Sancho. It was Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, wasn't it? Wasn't it? Yeah, it must have been. God, my brain. And yeah, look, Martinez is for 60 odd million, however, 70 million. How much did he cost? He was probably a good signing. But Varane for 70 million, not Varane, Casemiro. Granted, he looked good last season. He cost 70 million for a 30-year-old. They put him on a long contract. Poor financial investment. Whereas Chelsea would have signed him 10 years younger, signed him on a 10-year deal on very low wages and leaned into amortization. Absolutely different ends of the spectrum in terms of plans here and, how they go about doing things. But both underperforming this season, so let's not get ahead of ourselves and start, patting ourselves on the back yet. Both really underperforming. We're, of course, if we win this game away at Old Trafford tomorrow night, we will be 2 points behind Manchester United, But considering the narrative of both teams of late, that's be pretty impressive and come out of nowhere. Like I said, Chelsea are the favourites to win this game, but very, very slightly as the away team. And I don't think we've beaten Manchester United in the league or at all. And correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, because this could be an absolute blunder if I'm incorrect. I heard this on a podcast, so I'm just going to regurgitate this out. Forgive me if it's incorrect. Let me know if it is. We haven't beaten Manchester United since the FA Cup final under Antonio Conte, where we beat them 1-0 with an Eden Hazard penalty. Was it Jones conceded it? If that's true, that is an absolute sickener. Because these recent and that's that is 5 years, bro. We haven't beaten Man United in half a decade. Look, I pray I'm wrong. Apologies for not looking this up before, but do comment down below and put it right if wrong, because the iterations in the last half decade of Manchester United have been very, very poor indeed. And to not beat them, with Champions League winning squads and whatnot is a sickener. So it's about ruddy time. If true, it's about ruddy time we put them to the sword, or at least narrowly beat them. And we will be going away to Manchester United to do that. I have built a lineup, but quickly, they've got injuries, we've got injuries. Noni Madueke, by the way, has also been added to our injury list. Who's at? Casemiro's out for them. Mason Mount, of course, probably a good thing, because the narrative, I'm sure, wouldn't do him any favours or us any favours, or it just, everyone gets to avoid a headline, don't they, for one reason or another. They've got loads of injuries, I know they do. I know Shaw's back, but they've got Dalot's out, I think. Malassi is out. Martinez is out. Evans is out. They got a couple of others as well, but they've still got. I said Casemiro, didn't I? But yeah, look, they've still got. They can put out. Garnacho, Rashford. I think Højlund, is he out or is he back? Martial, Fernandes. They got Palestri. They got Anthony, he'll probably score against us, wouldn't he? Højlund will probably score his first ever Premier League goal against us, as the narrative goes. They've got decent players, but let's look at how Chelsea can set up with all our injuries. And I've gone a little bit rogue here. Right, here we are. 4-3-3, I'm not changing the formation, but as you can probably see off the bat, there's a glaring radical take here. Sanchez will start in goal. And with Reece James serving his suspension, he has to come straight back in to offer dynamism down the right flank. The partnership between Silva and Disasi, I think, will continue. Of course, the concern is that Thiago Silva's 39. He's played a few days ago. Can he play straight away again? If he can't, of course, we can play Badiashile or indeed Colwill there and bring in Cucurella. But for example, let's just put in Badiashile for the moment, because he will be rested and looked a lot better last time out. So if Silva, as a 39-year-old, does need to recover rather than going up to Old Trafford playing again, the Monaco boys can play next to each other. I want to start Colwill there over Cucurella. Of course, you could play Colwill here and play Cucurella, and that would be a way to rest Silva. But I'm going to play Colwill because I'm playing Mudryk at left wing. And when we play Mudryk at left wing, Pochettino tends to favour Colwill in behind rather than a normal fullback for extra defensive solidity. If it's Sterling there, he can play Cucurella, but if it's Mudryk, I think Colwill. So here's the big thing that you see. Of course, Caicedo's good to go, back in. No Leslie Ogochukwu. We keep Fernandes good to go. Two young guys, hopefully recovered well, good to go. No Conor Gallagher. And because we haven't got Chukwuemeka, Leslie Ogochukwu, I am playing in Cole Palmer. Now, Cole Palmer is a very, very, very attacking option as number 8. But he presses well, he retains possession well. And of course, he likes to play as a number 10 or a right winger. This kind of is in between, So it will kind of be a little bit of a lopsided 4-2-3-1. But he will essentially be still doing the work that Conor Gallagher does in that sort of slot down the right-hand side midfield. So that's how I'm going. And then with that, we will keep the same front three that we saw against Brighton. Of course, Palmer wasn't fit to start. So Mudryk on the left, Sterling on the right. Here I am, stuck in the middle with you, Nico Jackson. And of course, I would totally be happy to see the boy get a chance, Breuer. Maybe because Manchester United like to play in transitions, we can hit them back. I think playing in transition, Breuer is meant to be deceptively rapid. We've heard it before from Sterling in interviews, like saying people don't know Breuer yet. He is the truth. He is so fast. I think he said he's the fastest in the squad over, Galactico speed Mudryk. So if we are going to play in transition and Breuer is good to go, maybe he deserves a start here. But I do think, purely because we did that video the other day when we looked at all the metrics, I think yesterday's video, check it out if you haven't seen it yet, Jackson and Sterling, their numbers, their data in the Chelsea attack currently is irreplaceable. Granted, probably because they've been playing so much, but I don't think Chelsea will want to build on what they do, right? So they'll be like, all right, you guys are doing really well. You're developing this number in the data, but we want to tweak it better. They need like more play time, and we can afford to just basically keep grinding them. Like, the continuity in attacks is how you eventually get this Klopp Liverpool front three, or over time it really helps the development and chemistry. So I just feel like he will keep playing Jackson and Sterling. You'll have bench appearances from Breuer, and if Breuer starts to really shine, but for the moment, I think continuity will serve Chelsea. So that's my front three. You just really don't have the other options in terms of Palmer, especially with Nkunku, to play a second striker. Not that Fernandes is making me feel too good in the double pivot, but because we literally don't have any other options. There is another formation we can play, and not 4-2-3-1. It will be, and we've kind of seen it before against Arsenal, it's a 4-4-2. So it'll be Fernandes and Caicedo together, and Mudryk and Sterling. And we've actually seen it, I think, exactly like that. But Conor Gallagher and Palmer. Yeah, it was Conor Gallagher and Palmer. It was a strikerless system. So it would look like that. So Palmer was on the right, Gallagher was on the left. It would be Jackson and Palmer. To be honest, man, like, playing that formation away at Old Trafford, I've got absolutely no issue with. And you've got the speed from Mudryk and Sterling to break very, very fast, and keeping them denser. Palmer can drop in, Jackson can drop in and defend off the ball. Two banks of four against the 4-2-3-1 of Erik ten Hag's Manchester United, I don't really have an issue with. I think that looks kind of good. And then, of course, I think we'll probably see, we are short on players, but I think we'll see Breuer come in. Where is he? Breuer! For Jackson. Madueke's out, and if we're starting Sterling, Mudryk and Palmer, we are short. Gusto's out as well. So suddenly, we really are, short on players. We might see, David Washington come on, maybe, at the end, one way or another, if we're chasing a goal, because he's already played a few minutes. If he's chasing a goal, or just to give him a run out if we're winning, God forbid, 3-1 or 3-0 or something. Why not? If United have a bad day, chuck him on. But we are really short on available players. Looking at them here, maybe Thiago Silva comes off the bench. Probably. Let's be real. If we're defending a lead, which we'll do sometimes. I was gonna say maybe bring on Cucurella for Mudryk, and then we can play back five, because we did that against Brighton, a couple of days ago, defending a lead, and then suddenly you look a bit more like that. And to be honest, bro, I'm totally cool with that. And then you can just have a couple of, you may give him a bank of four, like that, defending a lead away at Old Trafford, and then you just leave a young David Washington alone on the break to try and kick the ball up to him to relieve pressure. Bish bash bosh, baby! Feeling good. Oh man, if it is true, if we haven't actually been United for that long, I feel pretty terrified about it, but We are technically favourites. You got Gary Neville really, really worried, talking about like he doesn't want to cover United games anymore, and that he's he's worrying about like what Chelsea are going to do to him, to United, and by proxy him. And I would just, love us to go there and just put them to the sword. And it almost wouldn't be. It would be more about it would and this might work in our favour actually. But the headlines the following day, and again, we might lose, but if we win, so convincingly, the headlines the next day won't be about us. And maybe for once that's a good thing. It will be about Man United. Oh, they, do they sack Ten Hag? Crisis club, and maybe that's good. Maybe these headlines, after like Tottenham, after Man City, like, oh, Chelsea, they're good. Maybe we could just, the kids of Chelsea, because they probably enter the next game in Newcastle a little bit like, yeah, we're good footballers, we're good again, and we probably, with this immature young side, can do without that. So maybe the headlines on United would do us a favour. Anyway, I'm gonna predict a Chelsea win. Why not? They don't concede loads, United, but they can do. I have a feeling it's a midweek game at night under the lights. I think we're gonna win 3-1. 3-1. Oh God! Let me know what you think. Comment down below. Provided we keep everyone on the pitch and no one gets sent off, I really think we can win this game. Let me know what you think. Leave your score predictions and thoughts on the game in the comments below. And of course, come back here after the game. Half an hour after the game, the complete breakdown should be live. So hopefully see you back here then. Take care of yourselves, friends, and peace.